Welcome, everybody. Welcome to this incredible day. Thank you for the weather, whoever is responsible. That was a surprise for you. It's not in the program. Just in case you don't recognize him, that is the brass section of the Boston Symphony Orchestra. It had never occurred to us to call the Boston Symphony Orchestra and say, why don't you come play Aaron Copland's Fanfare for the Common Man? They called us. Also participating are students in the Tanglewood Music School, and we are delighted. And this is what it means to live in Berkshire County. The BSO calls you up and says, can we come? I'm Julie Michaels. I'm a co-chair of the W.E.B. Du Bois Sculpture Project, and I'm introducing my partner.
Ari Zorn, co-chair.
So today we gather to celebrate a great leader, a native son, and the community that supported him. A statue honoring W.E.B. Du Bois in his hometown has long been the dream of many local residents, especially those who recognize him as the intellectual father of the modern civil rights movement. That monument, we thought, should be located on the main street of town. And what better place than in front of this library, a stately building that already honors Du Bois with its generous collections. When the steps of the Mason Library were condemned 3 years ago, our group formed to embrace it as an opportunity. Working with the library board and the town, we designed a new plaza with a curved marble bench, one that invites locals and visitors alike to sit, read, and be inspired. A shared community space. We would place the statue of Du Bois on that same bench, seated and welcoming passersby to join him. Today, we present this historic plaza to you, the citizens of Great Barrington.
I'm still in disbelief that this moment's even here. Community, unity, that's what this is all about to me. This is why I do what I do, but here we go. William Edward Burghardt Du Bois was born here in 1868, 3 years after the end of the Civil War. He died in 1963, the very day of Martin Luther King's March on Washington. His life encompassed almost 100 years of struggle for equality and proper recognition of Black Americans. Dr. Du Bois was fortunate in his birthplace. Great Barrington was progressive, pro-education, and pro-union. There was a color line, Du Bois wrote, but it was not yet manifestly drawn. Just lost my place. Among this middle-class community, which included over 125 Black citizens, Du Bois was known for his scholarship and determination. He became high school valedictorian. With the support of his school principal and minister of the Congregational Church just across the street, Du Bois entered Fisk University, studied in Berlin, and became the first African American to earn a PhD from Harvard. Others today will speak about his genius and his leadership, his compelling vision of equality and opportunity. It was not an easy journey.
Can I say something?
Yeah, right. Yes, you do.
Even as he left Great Barrington and went on to be a scholar, sociologist, prolific author of 21 books, and co-founder of the NAACP, Du Bois came back to his hometown often. He remembered it fondly, buried his family members here, and hope to establish a center for Black intellectuals.
What is this?
This is you.
No,
Oh,
it's you.
Oh, it's me. Recognition of Du Bois, his work and importance to the true meaning of democracy in America is long overdue. With this, the dedication of this monument, we welcome him home. And now we are going to start the rest of this program, graced by Wanda Houston, who will sing her rendition of Lift Every Voice and Sing, written by another distinguished resident of Great Barrington, James Weldon Johnson. Join us in welcoming Wanda Houston.
Thank you all. Thank you all so very much. I am also proud to say, as James Weldon was a friend of W.E.B. Du Bois, part of this was written right here in the Berkshires, in West Stockbridge. Many people don't know that, but part of this was written that he wrote this for all people. It is known as the Black National Anthem. In the 60s, it became known as that, but for us here today, it's for each and every one of us to remember. Would you all stand as you are able? Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the hope that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the faith that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on. I'm going to say it again. Let us march on. One more time. Let us march on till victory is won. Is won. Is won.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Luna Zander. I am a part of the Barrington Stage Musical Theater Conservatory, and I'm so honored to be here today to give you guys a reading of the poem, The Independent. I believe in God, who made of one blood all races that dwell on earth. I believe that all men and women, black and brown and white, are brothers and sisters, varying through time and opportunity, in form and in gift and feature, but differing in no essential particular, and alike in soul and in the possibility of infinite development. Especially do I believe in the Negro race, in the beauty of its genius, the sweetness of its soul, and its strength in that meekness which shall yet inherit its turbulent earth. I believe in pride of race and lineage and self, and pride of self so deep as to scorn injustice to others, and pride of race so chivalrous as neither to offer bastardry to the weak nor beg wedlock of the strong, knowing that men may be brothers in Christ even though they may not be brothers in law. I believe in service, humble, reverent service, from the blackening of boots to the whitening of souls. For work is heaven, idleness hell, and wage is the well done of the master who summoned all them that labor and are heavy laden. No distinction between the black, sweating cotton hands of Georgia and the first families of Virginia, since all distinction not based on deed is devilish and not divine. I believe in the devil and his angels, who wantonly work to narrow the opportunity of struggling human beings, especially if they be black, who spit in the faces of the fallen, strike them that cannot strike again, believe the worst and work to prove it, hating the image which their maker stamped on a brother's soul. I believe in the Prince of Peace. I believe that war is murder. I believe that armies and navies are at the bottom, the tinsel and braggadocio of oppression and wrong. And I believe that the wicked conquest of the weaker and darker nations by nations, whiter and stronger, but foreshadows the death of that strength. I believe in liberty for all men and women, the space to stretch their arms and their souls, the right to breathe, and the right to vote, the freedom to choose their friends, enjoy the sunshine, and ride on the railroads, uncursed by color, thinking, dreaming, working as they will in the kingdom of God and love. I believe in the training of children, black even as white, the leading out of little souls into the green pastures and beside the still waters, not for self or peace, but for life by some large vision of beauty and goodness and truth, lest we forget in the sons of the fathers like Esau, for more meat barter their birthright in a mighty nation. Finally, I believe in patience, patience with the weakness of the weak and the strength of the strong, the prejudice of the ignorant and the ignorance of the blind, patience with the tardy triumph of joy and the mad chastening of sorrow, patience with God. Thank you.
Thank you. That was beautiful. I have the honor to introduce State Senator Paul Mark and a very good friend of mine, Lee Davis, who was once the first black select woman of Great Barrington, and now is 3rd District State Representative.
Good afternoon, Great Barrington. What a glorious day it is. Before I begin, I want to take a moment to personally thank Ari Zorn, Julie Michaels, and Bois Thomas, whose hard work helped to make this day a reality. I know the formal thanks are coming later, but I did want to say personal thanks. I also want to thank my colleague and friend, Senator Mark, for his help and advocacy for this project and his funding for this wonderful monument. So thank you, Senator Mark. A shout out also to my former colleagues on the Great Barrington Select Board. I see a few of you here, alongside whom I had the privilege of working to move this project forward. So thank you so much to the Great Barrington Select Board. And also a big shout out to the DPW and Joe Aberdale and his team for doing so much work. And finally, I want to acknowledge Daniel Klein and Frank Von Just, whose early vision for Du Bois Monument planted the seed that grew into this powerful moment. So thank you. To start, I'd like to share an excerpt from a letter sent by Governor Nora Healy, who could not be here today in person. Dear friends, on behalf of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Lieutenant Governor Driscoll and I extend our thanks to the citizens of Berkshire County and the town of Great Barrington for your dedication to this monument and for honoring W.E.B. Du Bois's legacy. His legacy resonates throughout the world, inspiring critical conversations around equity and dignity for all people. We also commend the work of sculptor Richard Blake. This installation reminds us of the power of community mobilization and serves as a beacon of hope during these trying times. Please accept our warm wishes to all in attendance. Signed, Governor Nora Healy and Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll. So thank you. As I look out into this crowd, I can't help but reflect. This path to this day was not easy. It took years of vision, partnership, and persistence, because in this country, the road to honoring people of color is often long and never without resistance. But this community stayed the course. We stayed committed because remembrance takes time, justice takes time, and progress takes all of us. And now, here we are, in the hometown of W.E.B. Du Bois, unveiling a monument in his honor, just down the road from where many of us stood 5 years ago, outside Great Barrington's town hall, rallying for justice after the murder of George Floyd. That day, speaking to a crowd much like this one, I shared my story publicly for the first time. Born to an interracial marriage in the 1960s, at a time when that was illegal in many states, I was raised between two worlds, black and white. My father, a proud black man from the south side of Chicago, taught me to stand tall in both. My father would go lead on to the national campaign to make Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday a federal holiday. And on a personal note, I'm so proud to be here with Amari Paris Jeffries, whose Embrace Monument celebrates the love and the legacy of Dr. King and Coretta Scott King. Who my father was proud to call a dear friend, so thank you. My father's life and mine mirror what Du Bois so powerfully captured in the souls of black folk. That tension between how we see ourselves and how the world sees ourselves. In 2009, I came to Great Barrington as a solo parent with 3 young children. No job, no connections, just a leap of faith and a desire to give my children a better life. And this town embraced us, just as it once embraced Dr. Du Bois. That spirit of welcome, that sense of belonging, it's part of what makes this moment so deeply meaningful. Just last year, I was serving on the Great Barrington Select Board and was a member of the Du Bois Legacy Committee. Today, I stand here as state representative for the 3rd Berkshire District. This is a full circle moment, because that journey of finding voice, purpose, and community is exactly what today represents. Today is not a protest. It's a movement. It's progress. This monument, this space, this gathering, they all affirm that Dr. Du Bois belongs here, not at the margins of history, but at its very center. The center of our town, the center of our memory, the center of who we are. This monument doesn't just honor a man, it holds up a mirror and asks us, who are we and who do we want to become? It tells every child, especially every child of color, that they belong, that their story matters. And greatness can rise from this very soil, from this small town, from a community that came together to lift one of its own, just as it did for me and for my 3 children. That is the power of community. That is the power of us. So take a look around. This is what hope looks like. This is what hope looks like. And in moments of division and despair, this is how we rise, stronger together. And it is my great honor to welcome someone whose life reflects that very spirit, Governor Deval Patrick.
Look at you! Look at us! Thank you all for the warm welcome. And brothers and sisters, hello neighbors. To Ari and Julie and Du Bois and all of those who have made this day possible. And to all of you who have come to witness this extraordinary milestone, welcome. It's an honor for me to be a very small part of today's program, and most of all to be with you today. There was a sparkling gathering of writers and thinkers, historians, and others last night, and I told a story that my wife told me on the way home I messed up. And it was about a conversation some 25 years ago when she and I first settled in the Berkshires, and I attributed the question to her. In fact, it was her smart-ass sister who said to us after her first long visit here, "Where are all the black people?" My answer was accurate last night. I remember the answer, and I'm reminded of it especially now. The answer is, as it has always been, we are everywhere. And by the way, we always have been, and we always will. I think it's important to make that point right now. In these times, in our times, when so many people are being made to feel like we are outsiders, like we don't belong, like we have no history and no place. That's not what a community is. I'm proud to be a member of this community. And I'm proud to be a member of this community in part because we understand we don't have to hide from our history to love our country or to love our community. It feels to me so fitting that this extraordinary sculpture should be placed in front of a library. For those of us old enough to remember books, a library was a community's repository of books. And I think Du Bois understood, maybe as we need to be reminded today, that data and information is not the same thing as knowledge. And knowledge is not the same thing as wisdom. This statue here is an invitation for us all to seek wisdom, to do that humbly, to seek it and see it in each other, to listen for it in the folks who agree with us and the ones who don't, in the folks we know and the ones we think we know. But if we stop for just a minute, we'd realize we don't know a damn thing. And asking an honest and humble question is how we discover the magic and the light that lives in all of us. In that spirit, I am so proud to be a part of today's reveal. God bless you all. Thank you.
Be the change you want to see in the world, people. It's my honor to introduce Wanda Houston and Gina Coleman and the Misty Blues Band singing This Little Light of Mine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
I was reminded that W.E.B. Du Bois called these songs sorrow songs. And we have one that we'd like to do for you right now.
Didn't have no one to get their pen. Keep your hand on the plow and hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your hand on the plow and hold on. Maybe that motherfucker Gabriel stood up and blew his horn. Keep your hand on the plow and hold on, hold on, hold on. on the rock, keep your hand on the plow, and hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, keep your hand on the plow, and hold on, hold on. Keep your hand on the plow and hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep your hand on the plow and hold on, hold on. Keep your hand on the plow and hold on.
Wow. One more time for Gina, Misty Blues, Wanda Houston, thank you so much. I know it's hot. Thank you all for being here. I won't take up too much more of your time, but I do want to say that this is particularly emotional for me. I was named after the good doctor. My name is Bois Thomas. I moved to Great Barrington because of this great man, and I am truly proud and honored to be standing here in front of you today for this momentous accomplishment for our entire community. I also grew up with this man's book on my bookshelf. Professor Emeritus of History at the New York University, twice winner of the Pulitzer Prize for his 2-volume biography of Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois, co-founder of the currently happening Du Bois Forum. I am truly honored and privileged to be able to introduce Dr. David Levering Lewis to the stage today. Where did it go? Oh, you got it. All right. He's got it.
Umbrella or no umbrella? I've called this our statue's stature. I remember the first time I drove to Great Barrington. It was summer of 1985, and I stopped at the small information bureau on Main Street to introduce myself and to ask where I might meet citizens who remembered William Edward Burghardt Du Bois, born here in February of 1868. I was told it was highly unlikely anyone knew such a person. My informant suggested I contact the head of the local DAR. Such a person, my informant suggested I contact, said she was one of the oldest citizens of the town. When I returned to do so, the poised DAR chairperson recalled a brilliant colored man of whom much had been expected until years later his un-American activities had deeply disappointed the town. But how different things had been in Great Barrington and across the nation some 40 years earlier. His 80th anniversary celebration, sponsored by the New York Fisk alumni at the Hotel Roosevelt, honored him as a national treasure in 1948. Du Bois stood on a pedestal occupied by few other Americans, the senior intellectual of his race and an unexcelled propagandist. Arthur Spingarn presided with speeches by John Hope Franklin and Mark Van Doren. Greetings from India's Nehru and Jamaica's Norman Manley came. Regrets in response to E. Franklin Frazier's invitations effusively lauded the honoree. Melville Herskovitz congratulated Du Bois that so many, quote, things that he had fought for had been achieved. Henry Steele Cometer's 1948 list, men who make up our minds, equated Du Bois with Ben Franklin and Thomas Jefferson. John Gunther's massive bestseller, published later that year, Inside USA, accorded Du Bois a position almost like Bernard Shaw and Albert Einstein. But our statue's 83rd birthday in Great Barrington, however, was a far cry from February 1948. Dismayed by Du Bois's United Nations, an appeal to the world, a statement on the denial of human rights to minorities in the case of citizens of Negro descent in the United States, and his collaboration with Paul Robeson, the NAACP board had voted not to renew his contract 3 years earlier. Nor Progressive Party candidate Henry Wallace carried the black vote, as Du Bois had predicted. And on July 1st, 1950, the first Mrs. Du Bois died quietly in Baltimore, and he brought her remains to Mehewe Cemetery to lie next to their firstborn, the perfect Burghardt. Shirley Graham stepped forward to share his grief and soon become the second Mrs. Du Bois. And in league with Einstein and other alarmed citizens that the Korean War doomed peace and risked nuclear war, Du Bois soon found himself indicted in 1951 by the Justice Department as a foreign agent. And when Judge McGuire dismissed the government's case, biographers were denied the advantage of being able to write about Einstein appearing as a character witness for Du Bois. Always controversial, Du Bois espoused racial and egalitarian beliefs of such variety and seeming contradiction as often to bewilder and alienate as many of his countrymen and women as he inspired and converted. Nearing the end, Du Bois himself conceded mischievously that he would have been hailed with approval had he died at 50. At 75, he said, my death was practically requested. Welcome home, William Edward Burghardt Du Bois.
Next, we have a performance for you today by the Youth Alive Step and Dance Team from Pittsfield. Please join me in welcoming them to their stage.
Left side, right side, we gon' set this thing off right. East side, west side, we gon' set this thing off right. North side, south side, we gon' set this thing off right. I said north side, south side, we gon' set this thing off right. You looking for another thing? Go wild on another thing. And get loud on another thing. It's a party with another thing. You looking for another thing? Go wild on another thing. And get loud on another thing. It's a party with another thing.
Don't never stop if you wanna be on top. You wanna be on top. You wanna be on top. You wanna, yeah.
Só que a profissão das minas é...
That thing is kinda.
Keep my phone in airplane mode, black, first class bonnet on. Hair conditioner, leaving hair conditioner, leaving hair conditioner, leaving hair conditioner, leaving hair. Girl, let me pull you back, so baby don't touch the tresses. Come to the back. We see you begin the fixing with that big hair going like a band, with my big hair going like a band. Hair conditioner, leaving hair conditioner, leaving hair.
Youth Alive. Thank you, Shirley Edgerton, for making that happen. Thank you very much. So, this next person I want to introduce you to, Embrace Boston, they're responsible for the Embrace statue in Boston that has partnered with the sculpture committee, with Blackshears. I can't say enough about this organization, and I'm looking forward to working with them in the future. But Dr. Amari K. Parrish Jeffries is the president and CEO of Embrace Boston. Something special, you know. Come on up on stage here.
How y'all doing? I was sitting up there and I was thinking, man, I don't want to have to go after David Livering Lewis. And then the kids came on, and I was like, Lord, I wish I would have went after David Livering Lewis. Lord, I just want to do something. You know, in the pandemic, we had made some commitments and promises. One of the promises I had made was I was going to go to work wearing pajama pants. I didn't keep that promise. But the other one was that I was going to acknowledge invisible workers. I was going to acknowledge essential workers. So can we give a round of applause to some of the workers? I see people in the background blocking traffic, setting up in the background. I want to keep that tradition alive. And I want to give another round of applause to David Livering Lewis. He is the foremost expert in W.E.B. Du Bois. It's a big deal that he's here. A big deal. And y'all don't know it, but sitting next to him is the Secretary of the Smithsonian, Lonnie Bunch. That's huge. That's a big deal. A big deal. There are a few people that are keepers of the Du Bois flame, and I want to shout them out. Kendra Field, Elizabeth Hinton, Brandon Terry, Gwendolyn St. Van. Could y'all stand up? Van Sant, sorry. Van Sant. They are the keepers of the W.E.B. Du Bois flame. I want to just shout them out. And of course, my hero, Governor Patrick. I promised him that I wasn't going to bite any of his lines. I promised him. And I would be remiss if I didn't shout out there's two, I think at least two Embrace board members. Linda Mason, who I think is sitting over there in the crowd. There she is. And the Honorable Tito Jackson, my board chair. As well as some of my team members from Embrace. And, of course, the artist Richard Blake. We are so blessed in this town. We are so blessed. Not in this town, but this world. He said that, I was over there trying to talk him into doing one more. Y'all know I was. People say I'm a pretty good talker, but I was trying to talk him into. He's like, Imari, nah. Sit down. Stop talking. He said this was his last one, his gift to the world, and we thank you for that. His final one. I got a couple lines. I'm going to keep this short. It's hot out here. And I want to also thank, one more thank you. Can I say one more thank you? Two more thank yous. Two more thank yous. Oops. I want to thank I want to thank the committee for making this happen. It was hard work. They was up there fighting in the back rooms. Y'all, I hate to tell secrets. There's going to be a book. I want to thank the committee. But I also want to thank all of you. It is hard to be a resident, a citizen, and a person these days. And so I want to thank all of you for standing up and doing all those things. America has always known how to remember power. The question is whether it knows how to remember truth. There are 723 Confederate monuments still standing in public view. Add to that 741 roadways, 201 schools, 101 cities and counties, 41 buildings, 31 parks, 22 holidays, military bases now being renamed, and even 6 rivers and lakes that bear the names who fought to keep black people enslaved. These are not innocent markers, my friends. These are monuments to a lie. A lie that slavery was noble, that rebellion was honorable, that white supremacy was heritage. And they have been effective. 4 of the 50 most moralized people in this country are Confederate generals. One of them was the founder of the Ku Klux Klan. The story told in bronze and granite is not the story of justice, it's the story of dominance, war, hate, and fear. These monuments were not raised in the heat of war. They were planted after Reconstruction in the hard soil of Jim Crow and in the aftermath of Brown versus Board. They were constructed not to grieve the dead, but to police the living. Only 3 of the aforementioned monuments are of women, but the United Daughters of the Confederacy, founded in 1894, did more than build statues. They built a worldview. They rewrote textbooks, reshaped curriculums, renamed landscapes. Their aim was simple: to ensure that every courthouse, every school child, every southern street corner remembered the Confederacy, not as a crime, but as a cause. But we today, my friends, are not here to add to that legacy. We are here to interrupt it. We are here to raise a different type of monument, not to war, but to wisdom, not to terror, but to truth, not to erasure, but to W.E.B. Du Bois. And the Du Bois meets us not with a sword, and you'll see this in a minute, not with a fist, not with a flag. He meets us with an open hand. The power of the open hand. In sculpture, an open hand is never just a hand, it is a symbol, a language, a refusal. It is peace, the kind that does not forget violence, but refuses to replicate it. It is a welcome. It is a gesture that says, you belong here, even in a nation that tried to make you feel otherwise. It is solidarity, the kind that spans centuries, that binds the hands of the living and the dreams of the ancestors. It is an offering of memory and of intellect, of unyielding belief that black life contains multitudes. A monument to love. This monument joins the embrace, the monuments of love to tenderness in the face of brutality, that reminds us that even amidst the pressure of history, we hold each other together. It joins the statue of Elizabeth Freeman, one of the grandmothers of the civil rights movement here in the Berkshires. Let them celebrate generals who fought for bondage. Let them claim history while fleeing from their facts. We will build something else, my friends. We will build monuments that don't look down on us, but reach out to us, that don't mythologize violence, but honor vision, that don't cling to the past, but hand us a future. This open hand, and you'll see it in a minute. Maybe I'm spoiling it for us. Y'all know it's an open hand, right? Okay. Sorry. Spoiler alert, I should have said that. This open hand is a promise. Can y'all do it with me? Open your hands. It's a promise. We reach forward together with love. Thank you all. Sorry if I spoiled it for y'all.
We're almost there. Thank you for bearing with us. It's cooler than 2 days ago, so. I want to reiterate a thank you that Amari started, and that is to Richard Blake. I'd like him to stand. We have worked with this man. He has put up with us for 3 years. He says this is his final statue. I don't know whether that's true because a lot of people are going to be knocking on his door. But it has been a wonderful journey with him, with the whole process, with an extraordinary board, half of which is over here. And there are some other people we want to thank right now. This town has been so great. It's not like we came to the library board and said we want to do this and they said, what? No. They said yes, yes, yes. So where's the library board? We want you to stand up and take a bow. We have been bothering the librarians of the Mason Public Library for the past 6 weeks. We want to say thank you to the librarians of the Mason Public Library. Stand up and take a bow. We brought this plan to the select board of Great Barrington, and they didn't say, what? No. They said, yes, yes, yes. I would like the select board to stand up and take a bow. There you go. I'm going to give a special shout out to Joe Aberdale. He is the head of the Department of Public Works. He cannot be here today. He is my personal hero. He took this project and made it beautiful, made it easy, made it ours. Please, a round of applause for the Department of Public Works and Joe. I want to give a little shout out to Rich Atwood. He's the guy who put this in place in 24 hours notice. He did a few extra things for us. He came through. Everybody came through. Nobody said no. Nobody said next week. Nobody said tomorrow. They all said yes, yes, yes. And that is so important to us. And I also want to make a special mention to State Senator Paul Mark. I hope he's still here. We went to him and we said, can you get us a little line in the budget? And he said, yes, yes, yes. So part of why we are here is because our state senator spoke up for us. And I want you to know that people who live here will come and visit. But I assure you that a whole new population of tourists will come here to see this man, to learn his story, and learn about the very rich Black history of Berkshire County. So bravo to everybody in this community who said yes, yes, yes.
Thank you for a moment. Yeah, we also need a big thank you to Grigori, the engineer to this project, architect to this project, Smitty Pignatelli, who's out in the crowd, who actually introduced us to Paul Mark. It takes a community. I have to thank Tito Jackson sitting right here. If you knew our life stories, you would not believe them. We are brothers in some strange way that this all happened. But Tito, thank you for introducing me to the Embrace Board. Thank you very much.
Before we make the presentation, I have another surprise to you. You got the BSO in the beginning. I want you to know that under that tent across the street are 250 half pints of Du Bois and Berry ice cream, created for us by SoCo. I thought they were going to be little Dixie cups. They're big. So take a couple of spoons, share them among yourselves. The ice cream will be on sale at SoCo, but this is another gift to the town from the town. So thank you to that. And now, yeah. Go.
You good? You good? All right, it's my pleasure to introduce, where'd I go? Randall Martin's Sweet Life Music Project featuring Carla Page.
Hi, greetings everybody. How y'all doing out there? I am having a ball here. Let me tell you something. This has been a fantastic, awesome afternoon for me, and I can't wait to see the unveiling. The thing about me is that I see all of you as part of my family. Hey, can I be a part of your family right now? Is that all right? So we've got 3 songs for you that we're going to do, and I am so excited. I love this Mason Public Library, and I know the people before me were talking about it, but can I give my own kudos and props to them too? Give them some more love, y'all! More love! And Mr. W.E.B. Du Bois, an exquisite human being. You hear me? An exquisite human being. Boy, oh boy. I wish I could have met him in person. Hey, y'all want to have some more fun? You having a good time? Hey, if you're having a good time, I want you to clap your hands if you're having fun. Great Barrington, Massachusetts. Yeah. Love you. Thank you so much. That's right. This lady back here, she said, don't. Oh, okay.
Hi, everybody. Well, good afternoon. We're almost there. I have a special bonus for us all, and we have Craig Harris, composer of God Trombones, here, and he'd like to share a selection.
It's just an honor to be here. As a musician, I was doing a residency at Mass Mocha, and I would be going up Route 7, and I saw this bookstore called the North Star, and I said I was in the right place. And I was doing a thing called The Souls Within the Veil, which is based on Souls of Black Folk. It's written for like a improvisation off the orchestra. And then also, so I started coming, and I met Randy Weinstein at the bookstore, and he became like my muse. And then I met God's Trombone. We did James Weldon Johnson. We did that, and that was always all up here. We did that in this neighborhood, and it's just possessed, and it's a full circle for me. And I'm gonna play real quick, but I had to say some things because the world is full circle. I got to I'm a trombone player, composer, and I got to the music through two great people in my life, Maconda Ken McIntyre and Lordine Pat Patrick, who were my teachers, and they prepared me for this, and Pat gave me my first. He gave me Souls Within the Veil. He gave me Souls of Black Folk. He gave me the book. He was a book man. He happens to be the governor's father. I didn't want to say that, but but you know him, right? So we're going to do a short segment from the Souls Within the Veil is called. I know I'm from Harlem, so I'm from Dr. Du Bois' second home. It's whether 555 or 409 Edgecombe. 409 Edgecombe. 409 Edgecombe. I know he would know. So this is called Blues for Willie. I hope it's Blues for Willie.
Thank you so much. All right, good afternoon. I have a few words, and I know I'm like the last thing, Jeff and I, before you all get to see the sculpture, so I'll be quick. But believe in life. That was Du Bois's final charge to us after he was gone. Never losing faith in our ability to move forward. And just look at us, Great Barrington. Look at what we can do with willpower, imagination, and several committed friends, scholars, and colleagues along the way. For decades, residents and scholars have been calling for reverence, for repair, and for a path forward with Dr. Du Bois. We now have signs, we have murals, we have banners, we have commemorative walks, we have a town-appointed committee, and today we unveil a monument. My name is Gwendolyn Van Sant. I serve as Vice Chair of the Town of Great Barrington Du Bois Legacy Committee since 2017. I'm a member of the Du Bois Sculpture Committee for the last 3 years, and I'm also CEO and founding director of Bridge. This memorial is the result of the deep conviction of so many local folks, many of whom we've heard from today, and many more we haven't. The seed of this sculpture was planted at Town Hall when community leaders gathered to envision what the 150th birthday celebration of Dr. Du Bois could mean for Great Barrington. That was 8 years ago, and here we are. Over the past 30 to 40 years, my personal activism has been formed by many leaders and organizations around Du Bois, First, I came to Great Barrington on a W.E.B. Du Bois scholarship to Simon's Rock. I read Souls of Black Folk at age 15 in my freshman seminar. Elaine Gunn was the first person in the community to reach out to me, and I had the joy to meet her daughters and sons this afternoon. Steve Sneed, the husband of Dr. Francis Jones Sneed, said, "If you give Gwendolyn and Randy a task, they'll get it done." Reverend Willard Durant, always encouraging me on. Dr. Homer Skip Mead, encouraging me to be bold in all of my activism. Reverend Esther Dozier, who always saw me, no matter what. Long, long talks in the grocery store. And Freka Voust. She and Daniel Klein were the ones that picked up the sculpture vision. And we're here today. Freka was the best friend of Julie Michaels, so that's how we inherited Julie. And Yolande Du Bois Williams, which is my deep connection with this man alongside me, the mother of Jeff Peck. All of them now I call my ancestors. These visionaries, alongside their colleagues, families, and followers, they spoke, they rose, they taught, they fought in the legacy of Dr. Du Bois. We built, we reflected, we resisted, and ultimately they rested. Now it's our turn. But before we continue, I ask us to pause and give thanks. We've mentioned it many times this afternoon, but we wouldn't be here without our ancestors. I want us all to think about who drew you to this space right now. Take a pause and think about it. Say their names out loud. We mentioned Elizabeth Freeman. I think of Ida B. Wells, and Josephine Johnson, my grandma. But you lift up the names of the people that brought you here today. Shout them out.
Eddie and Charlie Page.
Come on. Yes. Yeah, I'm coming. All right. It's very important to bring in our ancestors. Their collective conviction carried us through to this miraculous shared moment in Du Bois's hometown. Thank you again to Ari and Julie, to the Blackshears, and to Embrace Boston for their partnership for this final 3-year stretch. And thank you, Randy, for your connection to this work. And again, let's see, I'll skip forward. Somebody told me to wrap it up over there. This sculpture stands not only as a symbol of Black liberation, civil rights, progressive education, and economic justice, it is a call to our collective humanity, one that includes and prioritizes the health and future of Black generations to come. For me, it represents imagination, the imagining of a new future. It represents a renewed refusal of white supremacy. And it represents a liminal threshold, an invitation to give up life as we've known it, and to instead co-create a world that truly holds space for healthy Black communities. Du Bois reminded us that this was never the original design. However, he is still calling upon us to reject erasure, reject violence, and reject our Black extinction. In the end, he went to Ghana to rest, but not without an enduring fight. And now it is our turn. And as we prepare for the unveiling, I invite us to imagine a great web that connects us all, to our ancestors and our kin, to the indigenous peoples whose land we stand on, to our neighbors past and present, and yes, even to the visitors and interlopers whose presence shapes our collective memory. It is now my great honor to introduce Jeffrey Allen Peck, the great-grandson of Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois, who will unveil the statue today. Jeff, it's always powerful to have you here in your family's home. Each time you return, you bring us closer to your great-grandfather's legacy. Thank you for honoring your family's roots and ties here. Thank you for adopting me as your sister. Thank you for the authenticity, curiosity, and persistence with which you uphold Dr. Du Bois's timeless legacy. Jeffrey Allen Peck is the founder of the W.E.B. Du Bois Proud to Be a Branch project, dedicated to promoting his great-grandfather's legacy with youth, especially youth in these young Black communities that have too often been ignored and undervalued. He is a board member of the W.E.B. Du Bois Foundation in Accra, Ghana, where Dr. Du Bois rests. He also serves as family advisor to our town's Du Bois Legacy Committee. Jeff, we're honored by your presence and leadership. And now, as Jeff prepares to unveil the statue, I share words from Dr. Du Bois from the Black Reconstruction. Beneath the veil lay right and wrong, vengeance and love, and sometimes, throwing aside the veil, a soul of sweet beauty and truth stood revealed. Let us unveil that beauty and truth together again. Thank you.
Unveil it first,
One of our elders in our community.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor to be here. I want to recognize all protocols. First, I want to thank all those that made this possible. The Sculpture Committee. They're made up of Ari Zorn, Julie Michaels, Dubois Thomas, Peter Cherniff, Lauren Clark, Randy Weinstein, Gwendolyn Hampton Van Zant, Bobby Houston, Leah Reed. That's the group. And next I want to thank Richard Blake for this marvelous masterpiece that he created. Thank you. I hope you don't quit after this one. You did such a good job. Next, I want to thank all of the organizations that made this week and this weekend possible. The Du Bois Freedom Center, Jacob's Pillow, Amherst College, Yale, the W.E.B. Du Bois Sculpture Project, Bridge, the Mellon Foundation, the NAACP Berkshire, James Weldon Johnson Foundation, Williams College, Boston University, the W.E.B. Du Bois Museum Foundation, Harvard University, or should I say the Harvard University, Johns Hopkins University, and the Du Bois Forum. I wouldn't be here at this time if it wasn't for the three young ladies that I'm going to mention now. They made it possible to get me here. They gave me a forewarning so I didn't plan something else. Kendra Field, Kara Greenwich, and Gwendolyn Van Zandt. Now I'd like to bring light to an organization that I'm part of called the W.E.B. Du Bois Museum Foundation, which is in Ghana. It is where my great-grandfather's final resting place is. We are in the process of building a world-class facility there that should be done in 2028. I would like Japhet Ayika to stand, please. He's the CEO. Is he up here? Okay, there he is. And his lovely wife, Ellen, is somewhere around. And if you see people wearing these, they're on the board. They're all trying to make this world-class museum happen. I say try, we're going to make this museum happen. What you should expect when you go to Ghana, when you see this piece of art, this beautiful museum, is holograms of my great-grandfather throughout the building. And as you walk through the building, you will hear his voice and his quotes. You will also be in a treat for an outdoor theater which will show some of his work and talk about his life. Please collaborate with all of us in this effort. Thank you. The last people that I like to bring light to are the folks that I call when I have a question, when I can't figure out something concerning my great-grandfather. Not in any order. Bill and Mary Nell Brown Williams, Dr. David Levering Lewis, let's see, and my good friend, Mr. Dr. Philip Senateri. Would you all hold your hands up, please? I've got tons and tons of books at home, and every time I get stumped by a particular question someone calls me, I don't believe in lying to them. I just tell them, let me get back with you. And then I reach out to the people that can answer those questions off the top of their head, thank God. I came to Great Barrington in 2014 to put a headstone on my grandmother's funeral site, or I should say burial site. And my brother invited me to come. He did all the talking, and I just stood back and I watched him and I supported him. Then the next year he changed jobs and he was unable to come back because he didn't have the vacation. So I became the person that came in 2015 and in 2016 and in 2017. When I came in 2014, I had no idea that I would fall in love with this town and all the people in it, and that it would mean so much to me now. So when I travel about the world, the first thing that I bring light to is this town where Du Bois first opened his eyes. And now I'm working on putting something that I'm proud of in the place where he last closed his eyes. And the two between have a strong connection. Just great, kind people, loving people. My brother reached out to me last night and asked me to read his, since he couldn't be here, he lives in Hawaii and his wife's health is not the greatest at the moment. He wanted me to read how he felt about this moment. Grandpa's journey to world-changing greatness began right here in this small town of New England, far from the distant places he would eventually visit and change. This town should be proud of his role in making him the man he would become, giving him the strength and the perseverance that would become the hallmarks of his success. He also called this small town home, so it's fitting that he sit here and welcome visitors and townfolk alike to a place of knowledge, home of books, and a sanctuary of truth. That's Arthur McFarland II. From me, thank you. When me and Arthur first came here, we stayed with a gentleman named Jonathan Clay. He is the nephew of Dr. Du Bois's attorney that defended him when he was accused of being a foreign spy. His name was Bernard Jaffe. As we were staying with Mr. Clay, he mentioned that his uncle wanted to speak to us, and he had things he wanted to tell us. So Arthur, being the oldest, he got to speak to him first, and after he finished, I got the phone and we spoke. And he talked about how he researched my great-grandfather because he had to defend him. So he had to know everything he could about him to stand behind him in court. And he said something to me at the end of the call that I love to share. He said, "Jeff, your great-grandfather was the greatest American I ever knew." He's been paid many, many compliments, but that one is up there in the top of the ones that I've heard. The other thing that ties me to Great Barrington, every time I go to Ghana, I think about my first trip. The first time that I went to Ghana, the Museum Foundation didn't have the funding to bring me there. So I let a few people know about it, and a young lady named Susan Witt from Great Barrington took care of my plane flight there. And I told her every time I go there, I think about her because she made the first trip possible. Now I'm on the board, so I don't have to worry about it now. But that first trip, it was tough raising the money. And my mother had just passed away, so I had a lot on my plate. So I'm always in debt to Miss Witt. I spoke with her last night. I texted her, and she said her health wouldn't allow her to make it here. But I just want to let you all know she's a great human being. The significance of this event is that we need to uplift my great-grandfather's radical commitment to justice, that we should be inspired by his courage at the time like this. What makes Du Bois rare then and now is that he has courageously represented his convictions. In the spirit of Du Bois, may we model the same kind of courage as he did. Now I'm going to read one of his quotes that I mostly admire more than any. We should, first let me wipe the sweat out of my eyes. Makes it a little easier to read. We should measure the prosperity of a nation not by the number of millionaires, but by the absence of poverty and the prevalence of health and the efficiencies of the public schools and in the number of people who can and do read worthwhile books. In closing, I'd like to say from the Du Bois family, myself, and all those around the world that care so much about my great-grandfather, thank you for all the support. Thank you for all that you've done. And if I missed anybody's names, chalk it up to my brain and not my heart. The Du Bois family loves you all, and thank you so much for all you do. God bless each one, every one of you.